Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where we live stream from the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, unless otherwise noted. The only other times we may not be live streaming on Sunday morning is if sometimes we have special events where we will live stream on Saturday nights. And that is called Cocktails with the Critters. Otherwise, when we travel, hey, Storm, if we travel, we take you with us and we'll live stream from wherever we are on location. So for those that may be new, my name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We are an international educational center where we live stream and teach people all over the world how to empower animals and the people that care for them. We do that through showing people how we work with animals using applied behavior analysis and positive reinforcement on an array of animals. We do that through our live streaming services, and you can find out more about what we do on our website, which is theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. You can always follow us here on our Facebook page. We're very active on our Facebook page. And you can also reach me if you want to get in touch with me personally. My email is Lara, Lara, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. So let's get started. Let me see, get that off of there. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Eva, Julie, Adrian, Colette, Storm, Cheryl. Good morning, everybody. Happy holidays, everybody. I can't believe it's already December 22nd. The last I remember, we were just starting my favorite month of the year, which is October. So I have a lot to share with you today. We have about 75 photos for me to show you. We have some videos too, but those didn't upload. So I was going to show you some bear enrichment and some lemur enrichment, but those didn't upload. So I'll put those into another future live stream. So I wanted to tell you guys what we're doing. We've been asked and it's been suggested, and we're going to do it. And this is our first episode where we will live stream enrichment products that we receive from different enrichment companies, and they want us to review their products. So I have some products for you to show you guys today. With an array of different animals from a couple of different enrichment organizations. And I even have, I think, just one in here of an enrichment item we made. We focus very heavily, and we always have here at the Animal Behavior Center, on behavior modification, training using positive reinforcement and applied behavior analysis, and enrichment. Enrichment is a huge part of all of our behavior modification and training plans. So enrichment is an arousal of the senses, and it's all individualized. Hey, Jim, when I design enrichment for an animal, it's always designed around that individual animal, not necessarily around the species, because we can fall into what I'm trying to say is, don't think that, for example, if we're doing enrichment for bears, that each bear is going to interact with that enrichment. I know in the world of birds, one thing I don't care for is labels such as, this is a cockatoo toy, because I have no idea what a cockatoo toy looks like. What I know a certain toy looks like is, this is a toy for Rico, or this is a toy for Rocky, because the difference between the two can be vast, and that's all based on that individual animal's understanding and engagement with previous enrichment. So I hope that makes sense. The photos that I have ready to show you are very heavy with parrots, but if you're watching this and you don't have parrots, because we have a wide variety of animals here, think of how this can be incorporated into with enrichment for your dog, for your rodents, for fish. Yes, because we design enrichment for fish as well. Okay, let's get started. Two things before we get started. Pay attention to our events section here on the Facebook page. You will see all upcoming workshops, live streams that we have scheduled, travel, what have you. My 2020 is pretty much booked. Not completely, but we're getting pretty full. You can find that on our events page. If you want to sign up for our email newsletter, you can do that here on our Facebook page as well. I'm going to be sitting down probably this evening writing our next email newsletter, and it's full of information, and it usually takes me several hours to put together. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so a lot of our enrichment is designed around food. Not all, but a lot, because all animals have to eat. And so what we do is focus on that individual animal. We focus on what it's eating, how it's eating it, and then we start putting that food into the enrichment items to get the animal working for that food. Because enrichment and foraging, the act of searching for food, every animal has to eat, so we shape complexities. And I see a lot of enrichment, not focusing on shaping complexities. We like that enrichment to start becoming more and more challenging, because we know in order to change a behavior, you have to replace it with another. So we will use foraging and enrichment to replace behavior, prevent behavior issues. And in the zoo community, I know there can be a lot of abnormal repetitive behaviors. And abnormal repetitive behaviors can be as a result of lack of enrichment, lack of challenge, okay, lack of goals for the individual animal. So starting off with food, we are coming up, I think, on the end of our second month of feeding raw. And I am seeing so many behaviors that I want to see. And the other day, I ended up putting the raw whole food into the animals' cages for dinner. And what I saw was, as soon as I put, now this is probably 6-7 weeks into us feeding raw, as soon as I put that food into animal enclosures, I saw every single one of our animals, boom, make a beeline right for their food. So, like I said, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And we have, this is the bird food that we are ordering from Collaboration for Avian Wellness, and I'm going to tell you how we're incorporating it with all the animals here at the center, minus the fish. But we prepare it for the birds, we give it to the birds, and then once the birds are done, then we take that food and incorporate it into foraging toys for the pig and for the lemurs. So if you go to, you're going to see me going through a series of photos of this Bird Thrive box that we are ordering, and it gets shipped to us the first of every month. So we're getting ready to receive our third shipment. Look at all this food that comes in. We get the subscription where we get the wet mash and the dry mash. The wet mash we feed in the morning. I take it out about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we put the dry food in it. This is a lot of food. And what it is teaching me is that I was formerly wasting a lot of food. And like I said, this was the end of our second month of feeding raw, And I'm finding we are saving a lot of money and little waste. So you can find more about this on c4aw.org, the website. So this gets shipped to us here at the Animal Behavior Center the beginning of every month. And I incorporate this into, this is 100%, well, minus the snacks and treats we use for training, 100% of our parrots and pigeons food. It is a big portion of what we're feeding the lemurs, because whatever is left over, we're packing it into enrichment foraging toys for the lemurs and the pig. Let me get to the next photo. So I'm going to come up with another live stream where I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, how I incorporate it through the day, because I'm very impressed with this food. This is a mix, a part of the dry mix that I feed in the evenings. I think it's just beautiful. Whenever I'm making the food, I'm just like, wow, this is gorgeous. This is a bunch of color. And this is exactly what I'm going to be doing tonight, is putting all of this together. You can, if you go to c4aw.org, this is the screen it's going to show you. And if you see at the bottom of this page, it'll say visit our store here. That's exactly where you click to order. And then you have the different subscription package or one-time package that you can sign up for. This Thrive Bird Box has my 2 thumbs up. Very impressed. Okay, I'm just taking a look at what you guys are saying. I may have to go back and review some of what you're saying, because this is packed. Like I said, there's about 73 to 75 photos in here. Logan says, excuse me, thank you for discussing this today. We were just talking about switching to this last night. Very helpful. I don't think you're going to be displeased with this, Logan. I am very happy, and I feel good with feeding better. All of my animals here are on raw diets except for the parrots, and then I'm like, why am I not doing this for the parrots? So I decided to make the switch, and I want to tell you, I'll do some live streams here on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page, but I want to tell you, stick with it, okay? Many animals have behavior issues because we over-deliver positive reinforcers, because food is comfort for us. And because we think it's comfort for us, we try to incorporate that into our animals' lives. And I can see some concerns with it. Overfeeding, a lot of waste. We don't want a lot of waste or wasting a lot of money on different types of food we feed here. Very pleased with what we're seeing. Okay. Leanne, you can go on to their website, c4aw.org, and you can see the different options you have if you want this shipped out monthly, which I do, because I don't have the time to go do a lot of shopping. And like I said, they make it so easy for you to incorporate this into everyday living. Okay, so you can go to their website, c4aw.org. And Kramer's on here. She can answer a lot of your questions for you in regards to the Thrive Bird Boxes. Like I said, 2 thumbs up, guys. Okay, so I want to show some photos. This is the Thrive Bird Box. After at the end of the day, before we feed the dry mix, we take the wet mash that we've had in there during the day. We don't like waste here. So what we do is put this into different foraging toys, and we freeze it. Sometimes we freeze it. We can incorporate this. This is the part where we incorporate it into the pigs and the lemurs. We can freeze it so it lasts longer, and it takes the animals longer to forage for their food. If they're foraging for their food, It's not giving them the time to practice undesired behaviors, which we would have to counter condition. So this is how our pig gets his fresh fruit and veggies. So it takes him a lot longer to eat this way than just dumping it into a food bowl. And then something else we can do is make it super simple. Go out and buy PVC end caps. You can get them in an array of different sizes. And we can freeze this and hang things like this into the lemur's cage. So if it's frozen, this food isn't just falling out. So what this is a 2-inch PVC end cap. You can actually take that end cap, turn it upside down, drill an eye hook into it, hang it from a chain. Now you have all this fresh fruit and veggies frozen and hanging inside this upside down end cap. So the lemurs can't necessarily, we hang it in the lemur cage, they can't necessarily see their food, but what I'll do is flip it up like this so they can see it, hang it at a height where if you wanted to, for shaping, hang it at a height where they can easily see it, then they'll start taking their hands and pulling the food from it. What you can do to increase, to shape behaviors and increase level of complexity is slowly start lowering it each day inside their enclosure. So now it's a conditioned reinforcer. They see the end cap. They know that it has a history of food being inside it. They'll start taking it, manipulating it, turning it over, start pulling pieces out, and that's exactly what we want. You can then increase complexity by moving it further and further away from areas that it's easy for them to get to. I like enrichment on chains for several different reasons, because in order for the animal to get it, they've got to take 2 hands or a beak or whatever, grab it, and then they pull the food from it. When they start eating it, it swings away from them. We make a wide variety of devices here that those toys are hung from that causes it to swing even further. So then the lemurs, they get done eating whatever is in their hands, and they're looking for that toy, and now that toy has swung to the other side of the enclosure, so they have to jump down, jump up, or if you're anything like these 2-year-old lemurs, they can just do a straight shot right across the enclosure. That's a way to increase complexity. So they see that PVC pipe, and something you could do as well is now start the PVC cap, start attaching that to other pieces of PVC devices. I love working with foraging toys made out of PVC because it's easy to clean. You can quickly throw those into the dishwasher. So here is, I'm not sure if we covered this before on a Coffee with the Critters, but this is one of the toys that the volunteers here made for the lemurs. These are 3-inch PVC end caps attached to a really thick cardboard tube. And then the tube is actually, I think, a core. We had all these cores sent to us from an elephant sanctuary. So we are able to drill through this cardboard core, creating holes so the lemurs can see into it. And then see, it's on a chain and it's hanging next to one of their perches, which was actually a perch for a Eurasian eagle owl that was in here for training. So this looks like Dill, the lemur. He's got to grab it and then pull it over and then stick his hand in those holes. And we have, I'm not sure if Kendall or Erica made this. This tube is filled with Timothy hay. So then the food is sprinkled in throughout the Timothy hay. So they've got to grab it, try to get that Timothy hay out to get to the food inside. And it's taking a lot of toys. Logan says, is PVC safe for parrots, or are there specific types of PVC that should be used? Do your research on that, Logan, because I do get a lot of people ask me that. I'm here to tell you I've used PVC with my parrots for 15 years. Um, there are different things. Oh, I can, yep, Tanya, I can take my picture off of here, or you know what? I'll just do this. How's that? Can you see that, Tanya? Thanks for letting me know that, because I'm not paying attention to that sometimes. So we can increase complexity in this toy. They know this toy very well. We can increase complexity on this toy by where it is hanging. And lemurs like to jump, hang, swing. Well, I'll say it's common. Those are common behaviors. So what we can actually do is take this toy now, pull it away from the perch, and just hang it in the center of their enclosure, which is about 6 feet off the ground, and there's nothing around them for them to jump to and perch on. To get to this. So what they have to do, and I'm shaping this complexity based on by watching them and watching what they're doing in their enclosure. So what they'll do is jump up the side of the enclosure, crawl across the top of the enclosure, hang on to the top of the enclosure by their back feet. They will drop, and they sit there and forage through this toy in an array of different toys that we have for them. Okay, this is a toy that was shipped to us from birdieboxbirdtoys.com. That is Dawn Graham. She shipped us a couple of these to try them with the parrots, and we did incorporate this into the lemurs as well. And believe it or not, we incorporated this into the pigs enrichment and the dogs enrichment. So this is, I believe, a 2-inch PVC pipe with holes drilled. A lot of times the mistake people make when drilling holes on the sides of the toy is they make the holes too big, and the food falls out too fast. Now, I will say, to help shape the behavior of the animal interacting with this toy, you may want to start off with a bigger hole so it's really easy to see, but also when it's really easy to see, it's really easy to fall out. So what Dawn has done is she ended up screwing on some end caps, which I like, so they're not glued on, because when you're filling this with your raw food mash, it gets very dirty inside. Well, what's really nice is this all comes apart and easily goes into the dishwasher. I only have photos of it with the birds. I will post upcoming photos of it with the dogs. This is Rocky, our 21-year-old Moluccan cockatoo that we adopted, I don't know how long ago, 13 years ago, that did not forage for food. So we shaped that behavior. Rocky has a long history of reinforcement of screaming, abnormal repetitive behaviors. So Dawn Graham's on here, so she can answer your questions about this particular toy. Rocky doesn't do that a lot anymore. But if enrichment starts to become less complex and it's too easy, the more likely I see behavior issues start to emerge again. So don't forget to, like, Rico wasn't foraging for it with this, and I was like, why? Rico loves to unscrew things. That is one of his favorite forms of enrichment. That is a behavior I taught him at a very young age. Be careful what you teach your animals if you want them to really do those behaviors. So he goes around unscrewing everything here and turning on and off light switches. Julie says, what did I put inside the PVC for Rico? I started with pine nuts. So what Rico wasn't doing is he wasn't foraging for this hanging on the side of the cage. So this is when I washed it, sat it on the table, and I was getting ready to prepare the dry food mix for the evening. And I saw Rico fly over to this, and then he started interacting with it. And I was just like, oh, okay. So maybe it was how I presented it to him that reinforced or punished the behavior of foraging. So here he is trying to unscrew the end caps. So I ended up hanging this instead of above a perch. I hung it on the side of the enclosure next to one of his favorite perches where he goes to for foraging all the time. So with Sunshine and Rocky, I started putting off their favored treats. When I'm shaping foraging, I will start with their favorite treats. No, I'll just leave it at that. I start with their favorite treats to make sure they understand it. Once they start understanding it and I see them foraging from it all the time, then I start putting their main form of nutrition in it. Does that make sense? Good morning, Carrie. Yeah, so you can find more about Dawn's toys at birdieboxbirdtoys.com. She has an array of different types of toys, and we've used them here at the center as well. And I have more from Dawn coming up here. Let's see. I forgot. I thought this was the end. Dawn, what is the name of this toy? I'm sorry. I went on your website this morning with intention to look up this toy. I call it the Rattler. But we incorporated this. These are some of our parrots' favorite forms of enrichment. There's beads inside, and here I put it to the test. The Rattler footy, okay? So here's what we do with this toy in the evenings. The birds love this toy. In the evenings, the birds come out. We get different birds out throughout the different times of the day. We get different animals out throughout different times of the day. Anybody pay attention to our Facebook page? Did you see the lemurs got out this week? Yeah, that was fun, interesting. But I didn't have to use force to get them back in. I was just like, they are trained for this. Let's do this. So before I get an animal out of enclosure, I will train them for all the behaviors. I train them inside their enclosure for all the behaviors I will need once I get them out. Thank God we did, because they accidentally got out of their cage this week. Pretty interesting. The birds thought it was interesting too. So here's Rico tossing the Rattler footy. We actually even used this toy to modify a behavior, screaming behavior with Rocky. Rocky will scream for attention, and we replace that with, when you go grab this Rattler footy, that is when we will give you attention. He also rings a bell when he wants treats, and he's training us. I am fine with that. Training is all about, based on positive reinforcement, is all about building the bond between the people and the trainer. And so he rings his bell when he wants a certain type of food. He will grab the Rattler footy when he wants our attention. How is that for an action shot? Okay, I'm just taking a look at everybody's comments. And if I don't address your comment, I will go back on here and address it as soon as it's over. So Dawn says she uses this Rattler footy for the same thing. It is Rocky's one of his favorite toys, and he knows when he goes over and shakes it, we'll come running to his cage. Okay, so you can go on to Dawn's website, take a look at her toys, birdieboxbirdtoys.com. Okay, now in our Thrive Bird Box, every month we get a surprise, and numerous different surprises. This was from, this is Chyla May and her website is Wacky Wings Bird Toys. This was the free toy. Well, this was one of the bonuses we got in our box, I think 2 months ago. So this is Rocky. And this is a great way to incorporate using the raw whole foods through the Thrive Bird boxes to incorporate them into foraging toys, because this toy made by Wacky Wings can easily go into the dishwasher once you're done with it. Rocky, if you just put a foraging toy into his enclosure and don't explain it to him, and we explain it to him through shaping, he will likely not interact with it. So we hung this at eye level, made it really easy for him to see into. So then he has to move these plastic end pieces to get to his toy or his food. And I first started with pine nuts and popcorn in this PVC toy. And then we are moving it to his morning mash and his evening mash. So Julie says she got this one as well, with her order of her Thrive Bird box. Okay, now we're going to move on to, these are toys sent to us from My Safe Bird Store. And let me pull up the website, mysafebirdstore.com. Now, like I said, this episode is very heavily parrot focused, but take a look as we're looking at these, watch how these can be incorporated with numerous different animals. This is, I forgot what it's called, but I have a picture of it. This was Rico's favorite toy for a long time. And when I would purchase them, I would purchase them in like 4 or 5, amount of 4 or 5, because once this goes into his cage, he does nothing else except for eat occasionally and drink between destroying this. And we want our birds destroying things. So here's Sunshine. Well, there was Sunshine engaging with it. He went right for it. I have a video that did not upload. This is Rico when I first put it. This is the first time he's had this back in his cage in probably 8 years. And he went right for it. So here's Sunshine again. And right now, actually, we moved one of these into Rocky's enclosure. Years ago, Rocky would never interact with it. But I think about a week ago, we moved it into Rocky's enclosure. And now he's taking it and shaking it. And I look at the bottom of his enclosure and I'm seeing bits and pieces of it that he's destroying. And that is exactly what we want him to do. So if you go to My Safe Bird Store's website, which is mysafebirdstore.com, they have so much products on there that I wanted to show you exactly where I went to order this. If you go to their website and then you scroll on the products, and you'll see this is under large bird toys. That is where I found it. Hey, Lisa Spector's on here. She says, where's this toy from? And Dawn posted it. Thank you, Dawn. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I can't read it. Looks like Happy Beaks Spaceball. Yeah, made out of plastic with a bell in the middle. And studies show that animals interact with toys that change shape and make noise. They interact more with toys that change shape and make noise. And you may ask me, what study is that from? I'll tell you, it's from a stack of research papers that I have paid for here over the years. And that stack of papers is about this thick. When I find that study, I will post it. Okay, so here is, these are a favored of, this could probably be used with rodents as well. I'm trying to think of, because I work with a lot of zoos, so I'm trying to think of how a lot of these could be incorporated into different zoo enclosures. So this is, I don't know what it's called, but it's coming up. I think I call them widgets. I do have it on my Safe Bird Store's website and show you where you can go to them. They're like wing nuts. Rico loves these. These are great foot toys, meaning you hand them to them and they pick them up with their feet and interact with them. We could use these with the lemurs as well very easily. We have a kookaburra and a skunk getting ready to come in for training. Hopefully that happens this week, where we'll be live streaming and incorporating enrichment there as well. The little wing nuts on it screw, and then the end caps pop off. Rico loves these. You can make, okay, Kathy says, yep, they're wing nuts. You can increase complexity with these by drilling them into toys. We didn't do that, but we'll do that for a future episode. And Rico, there's an awesome video, if you guys have not seen it, I believe it's on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page, about Rico destroying a toy. Then he picks up that toy and kind of tips it back and puts it in his mouth. He is notorious for this. He will also take lids, plastic lids, and instead of going over and drinking out of his food dish, he will dunk the lid into the into the water dish and drink like that. So these are animals choosing to increase the complexity of their own enrichment provided. All right. And I always tell people, the smarter the animal, the harder they are to care for. That is the parrot. I do not want a lemur running around my house either. So if you go to mysafebirdstore.com, let me make this larger because I can't see. It's under acrylic plastic parts. When I'm on her website, I like to look for parts that I can incorporate using my creativity into different parts of toys. So stay tuned because we'll be doing more of that. You'll be seeing a lot more of that. I have a lot more photos to get through. So, okay. Kathy, these are the bomb diggity. I knew that before, but let me show you. These are birdie bagels. So if you go to their if you go to their website, mysafebirdstore.com, you can see birdie bagels in a wide variety of sizes. Boy. Let me show you what we did with these. So I like to take parts and incorporate them into different toy parts. Kendall, one of our volunteers, Kendall Jukla. So I asked the volunteers, start incorporating these different ways you want into toys, and then take photos and send them to me so I can put them in this live stream for you today. So here she made a foot toy. These are really thick and heavy duty. That's what I like because we've got a lot of large beaks here. These would also be great for rodents. These would be great for the lemurs, minus the not knotting them on because the lemurs would not be able to get that knot apart to get the cap to come off. So we took plastic bottle caps and pounded them onto each end. And then there's food inside. Yeah, so let me show you an array of different things we did, and we've been incorporating these into our enrichment for probably at least 3 weeks. This is Rocky. Make it super simple in the beginning for the shaping, and then start increasing complexity. So we handed it to him as a foot toy. At first, we make sure he understands that there's food inside. All of our animals here are very well aware of when they're handed an object, they know to explore and start taking it apart because likely there's a highly valued positive reinforcer or reinforcers located somewhere inside. Lisa says we had a rabbit that loved them. And Lisa, you ask, are the beads too small for the big birds? That is a very common question. No enrichment is 100% safe. But what is the alternative? To not provide enrichment? One of the saddest things I see are animals in enclosures with no enrichment. That makes a very sad day for me because the animal isn't mentally or physically engaged or learning from anything it's in its environment. And in an unenriched environment, there you will see animals starting to uh, perform abnormal repetitive behaviors because there's nothing else for them to do. And then a lot of times I will see abnormal repetitive behaviors start to shape the way for self-injurious behaviors, such as eye poking, self-mutilation. Yeah, it doesn't need to be. It does not need to be. So here is, but what I was going to say about the beads, watch your animals. Whenever I give an animal, especially with the numerous species that we have here, whenever I give an animal a piece of enrichment, I hand it to them and then I sit right in front of them and I watch. What are you doing with that toy? Are you ingesting the parts that you're not supposed to be ingesting? And are you ingesting the parts that you are? And so I will stand right there. Very rarely have I come across, but I'm also very cautious. So maybe that's why it's rarely. Do I come across an animal eating an inedible substrate? But we used to give these beads to our macaw, and for our animals, it was safe. There was a couple of pieces of substrate we have had to remove from our animals' enrichment, and one of them are that craft foam. Another one is crepe paper, that really thin tissue paper. I actually saw Rico ingesting it. I was like, not worth it. Trash. Those foam parts, I've seen a couple of different animals. The pig eat it. The parrots eat it. So we just eliminate it. We don't even, it's not worth it. Yes, thanks for bringing that up, Quentin. I totally forgot about that. Quentin says, if you're not in the Parrot Project and need foraging ideas, join. There's a topic every week called Foraging Friday, and we all post foraging ideas. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Quentin. We also do this in level 1. And it's called Work For It Wednesday because our level 1 online membership is for companion animals. So we will show this in level 1 the first Wednesday of every month with pigs, fish, dogs, whatever people are living with as companion animals. We do this every Friday in the Parrot Project, our online learning services and live streaming services for parrots. We do this every Friday. And that's where I post what I do a lot with the toys here and how we make them and why. And then we will be doing this in level 2 because we're getting even more involved in zoo enrichment. Our level 2 online learning service is live streaming service is for people that are professional animal trainers, zoo trainers, board certified behavior analysts thinking about getting into the field of working with animals, and people that are just want more content. So we took this longer birdie bagel and drilled a hole in a piece of wood and shoved it into that piece of wood so we were able to make a foot toy out of it. We also do this when certain toy parts break. If they're clean and they're not destroyed yet, we will usually incorporate them into, I see people registering for the Parrot Project. It just popped up on my screen. If you want to take a look at our online live streaming services, you can go to theanimalbehaviorcenter.com and find out more. So if the toy parts fall apart and they're clean, we will hand them to them when they're on their play gyms as foot toys. So I just made one of these for Rico yesterday, a small toy that hung from a chain and drilled it into a piece of wood. And Rico's a destroyer. I call him Captain Destructo for a reason. So what I do is, because Rico is a very advanced forager, what I do is I actually put some pine nuts in a paper cone cup, twist that paper cone cup. Then, because he's so advanced, if he wasn't as this advanced, I would not clip off the end. But what I do is I clip off the end, and then so now I'm taking a piece of a paper cone cup that's about this big, and I shove it into the middle of that tube. So Rico has to tear apart, and I'll find out when I get out there this morning because I just put it in his cage last night. He has to destroy the tip of that tube like Coco is doing in this picture to get to the pine nuts. Okay, so that's going to take him a long time. Here, volunteer Edie showed how different ways, this is a Rocky foraging toy. Anybody that is familiar or in the Parrot Project knows exactly who this toy is for, because we're shaping levels of complexities through those plastic wiffle balls. Anyways, here Edie put these tubes on to a couple of different toys and how. So this tube is very easy to, it's very easy to see. And this is for Rocky, make it really super simple for him to see that food in that tube. Once he does, then the food gets shoved further and further, and we want to see that tube being destroyed. Okay, I'm getting ready to show you a series of photos that were a huge hit, and I sent them to my Safe Bird store to say, look what's happening. I see Karen on here. Thank you. Karen posted our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com, in case you want to find out more about our live streaming services. And the Parrot Project just turned 4 years old last week. We're at least 180 members strong, and 99.9% of those people rejoin every year. Our live streaming services for all animals, level 1, companion, our projects where are species specific, and level 2, which for professional trainers, are annual subscriptions. Okay, so I believe, I can't remember who made this, but this is a tube, one of those longer tubes that were donated to us from that elephant sanctuary. One of the volunteers drilled holes into the side of it to incorporate foraging, and this kept sunshine. Anything that keeps sunshine engaged is a blessing. This kept sunshine engaged for at least a week. And some of our toys will move around to different animal enclosures. But see, then they stuffed toys into the ends of those tubes, so the animal has to pull it out. And then once they pulled it out, what I did was I would go drop food into those tubes, and then the animal's sitting there pulling it apart, trying to figure out how to get to that food. So here is, after it was in Sunshine's cage, it went into Rico's cage, and here's the end result of Captain Destructo. He was on this toy for days. And you see he pulled out all the innards, so he was able to get to the different parts. Yep, that's pretty much ready for the burn pile. Okay. Yeah, wait till you see some of these upcoming toys. Here, Kendall Jukala, a volunteer Kendall Jukala, incorporated these tubes into numerous different ways onto this particular toy. You see them on the outside with the plastic caps on the end, and then she drilled holes through a piece of wood and inserted them into the wood. Good job, Kendall. I think this was Angie Cananaline that did this one. This was a big hit. And when I put this in Coco's cage, he went right to it. And you know, that is how I feed him his dry, some of his dry food from the Thrive bird boxes, is I put it in here. And the nuts that come with the dry food in the Thrive bird box, I can shove them into here as well. We even will take nuts and then we'll, bam, hammer them in. Now, obviously, for a lemur, we're not going to hammer them in because it's going to be too they won't be able to get it out. But for parrots with their size beaks, Yeah, very doable. This toy, I would love to show you a photo of what it looks like now, but it's in toy heaven. It died a very slow, long, agonizing death. It lasted forever. So if anybody is on here that has toy parts, I still have a lot more photos because we're coming to the big bang here at the end. Has toy parts or products or toys they want us to review, contact me, shoot me an email right now or right after this at laura@theanimalbehaviorcenter.com, and send us your ideas, because I can also start incorporating this. Our next live stream on our enrichment review is going to involve a lot of zoo enrichment, to show, like, I'm very heavy into the zoo enrichment in applying this to bears, primates, giraffe, skunks, cavies, you name it, we're incorporating it. So the next enrichment review will be with a wide variety of species at zoos. Okie dokie. Okay. So here is Rico or Coco destroying this. And each night when I put him back in his enclosure, I ask him to step up on this 2x4. I never want to punish the behavior of an animal going back in their enclosure. And we talk about this in our memberships and our projects, how we do this. But one of the things I do is go over and stuff a favorite treat into this toy, which is now dead. It's in a million little pieces. It's been decapitated, rolled over, dismembered. And it's hung from a wide variety and in different enclosures, parrot enclosures. So I'll pick the longest tubes and shove certain food in there, and then they start foraging for it, because we never want to positively punish an animal going into their enclosure. So at the end of a training session or at the end of a day where they're out, what we do is take reinforcers and shove them into these toys to redirect behavior, because studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement training, it is the animal's favored form of enrichment. So why would they want their training to end? I'm here to tell you, all of our animals here will beg for training sessions to start. So we don't want to tell them that, okay, your training session's done. Depending on the animal you're working with, that can put you in a very dangerous position. So what we do instead is redirect their attention, and it's usually on some type of foraging device that's going to take them time to get this food item out, and then we can walk out of the enclosure or grab all our props that we're using for training and get out of the enclosure without reinforcing frustration. Okay. Doop, 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 doop. So he's like, I got it. Good. And there he's foraging for a piece of popcorn. I will always start with treats and then move it to their main form of nutrition. Okay. All right. So this one, I think Kendall's known for the volunteer here with all the work with the cupcake wrappers. This, when Sunshine saw this, I was actually in his enclosure, walking around the front of it and cleaning it, and he had no interest in me. Sunshine is the one that will attack flesh as soon as he can see it. I know that from what I've been told. I've not been experienced it because I've not put myself in that position. So I felt very comfortable. He was on this toy, very comfortable going in and cleaning his enclosure while he was foraging through that. This toy still exists. And when I get him out of his cage, I'll go in and restock that toy. Okay, so when you go to the website, mysafebirdstore.com, you can go to toy parts, find toys by parts, and they're under the bagels. That's where you find these. So if you get some ideas through or order the toys from the organizations we mentioned today, I would love to see your photos of them. Share them with me. We can post them here. Okay. Also reach out to the company or the businesses that made these toys or supply these parts and let them know that you saw them here. Okay. This one I think is the video that I posted this week. I think it's here, and you're not going to be able to see it because it wouldn't upload here. This is a funny video, and we even posted this on our Instagram page this week, and somebody had mentioned that was absolutely fascinating to watch. So Catherine Sandberg, I believe she's out of Missouri, sent us a bunch of plastic parts, and these are pen caps that her students use. And in return, we show her photos and videos of how the animals destroy them. So this is Rico just destroying this toy. Very favored. Okay? What'd you guys think of that? So in wrapping this up, for those of you that are watching this episode of Coffee with the Critters, if you like what you see, this is what we do, except for in a much more intense level in our memberships and projects. The level 1 is for companion animals. These are annual subscriptions to live streams, posts, foraging, an engaging community, interviews with professionals. Level 1 is for companion animals. Level 2 is for people interested in the field of getting into applied animal behavior. We have several professional trainers, rescues, shelters, what else? Board certified behavior analysts. Our projects are species specific, and our memberships and projects are designed to be combined together, but you don't have to. Our podcasts, our hour-long podcast you listen to, extremely popular in our membership program. Species specific, same thing. Annual subscriptions to live streams, monthly Q&As, interviews with professionals in the field. And it is the holiday time. You have, let's see, 3 days before Christmas. If you have an animal lover on your Christmas list, or you want to purchase your animal a gift, take a look at level 1, level 2, our projects. We do give out vouchers that you can purchase, and I can print them off and have them to you in time for Christmas. You can even order on Christmas Day, and I'll have it to you in time for Christmas. The products we have here at the Animal Behavior we're not in the business of selling products, but a lot of people want the products that we're using, so we only sell the products that we use. We have, if you go to our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com, you can find our products. A lot of people love our Target sticks. I am telling you, your referrals for these Target sticks, we have sold out numerous times. They're back in stock, and we're shipping out numerous times a week. So thank you for your referrals. You can find out more on the animalbehaviorcenter.com. We love these Target sticks because we use different colors for different species to help prevent cross-contamination. And it's nice because you can wipe them off for disinfecting. You can wash them. We use these, obviously, as you see here in the photo. Top photo is on a wolf. Bottom photo, we use it with our giraffe. We use them heavily here at the center for the birds, the pigs, the dogs. We'll be target training the skunk, the kookaburra with it, the lemurs. We also have our station mats. We also have our treat pouches, which I didn't post a photo. Therese says everybody needs a Target stick. And Kim says we have the lollipop and treat pouch. Highly recommend them. Thank you, Kim. Our referral program, for every 5 people that you refer to that sign up for level or memberships or our projects, for every 5 people that join, you receive a free online consultation with yours truly. Keep an eye out for our workshops. 2020 We'll be heavily loaded with our workshops. I'm listening because I hear a deaf and blind dog walking up our stairs. That's not supposed to be up here. Take a look at our workshops coming up in 2020. And with that being said, happy holidays, everybody. Ray says, love this episode. So many ideas. Thank you. You are very welcome. And we'll be showing more of this in the Parrot Project and in the memberships. Okay. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope everybody has a great Christmas. Pay attention. I'll be sending out an email newsletter within the next couple of days. It will be in your email inbox before Christmas morning. And I will be doing a live stream this week on what we're seeing with the Thrive bird boxes. Good morning, Chris. Says he's going to try these with his cockatoos. Great. And Colette, thank you for all the fabulous work you guys are doing. All right. Happy holidays, everybody. And we'll see you this week. And we'll see you next week on Coffee with the Critters. All right. Take care. Don't forget to email me if you have any questions. All right. Take care, everybody.